Uh, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Yo. I'm one of, can you go to the next slide, Linda, if you don't mind? Yeah. My name is Jason Yo. I'm one of the deputy heads in the Department of Chemistry. I'm in charge of education. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon, this Sunday, together with my colleagues. So you see on your Zoom screen, you see Linda Wee, Wong Suk Tak, Ray Sin. These are our administrators. And we have Tan Jin Hui, who is the president of the Chemical Sciences Society. So the Chemical Sciences Society represents the interests of all the chemistry students in the NUS. So myself and Jin Hui will be telling you about the department, about the curriculum, as well as student life. Okay, but so this is the e-open house. But then what happened is next or this coming Saturday, we will also have a physical open house in NUS U Town, and we really look forward to seeing also all of you coming for this open house. I think it's going to be very exciting with a lot of freebies and stuff like that. Okay. So okay, go back. It's all right. Uh, so before I go on, I want to congratulate all the students who are here in this room. Of course, I can see whether you are a student or not, but I presume that many of you here are here because you are interested to apply for NUS chemistry. And you must have finished your A levels, IB, and so on. And this must be a tremendous milestone in your life. So I really congratulate all of you. Huh? I do not know whether there are parents in here in this room today, but if there are, again, a big congratulations because the achievement of your child, your son, your daughter is clearly your achievement too. So big congratulations. Now, some years ago, I was also like many of you here. I was wondering what to do after I finished my A levels. Eventually, I decided to do chemistry. I came to the Faculty of Science, to the Department of Chemistry. I spent 4 very wonderful years doing my bachelor's degree. And it was so fantastic that eventually I continued to do a master's degree. Then I went overseas to do my PhD, my postdoctoral work. And since 2012, I came back to the NUS. So I've been in NUS for the last 14 years as a faculty member. So I had a great time. So you might want to say that I'm a very happy customer of the department. And so I hope that I can also be a good salesman, okay, of the department. Now, next slide, Linda, thanks. Now, just one slide on what chemistry is. So what is chemistry really? You can consider it as the branch of science. It's a scientific subject. And it is concerned about the study of the properties and the reactivity of atoms and molecules, okay, to put it in a very simple way. Huh? And we are interested in the reactivity of molecules because we hope to make new materials, new molecules out of these. Now, atoms and molecules are really everywhere, okay, if you think about it, right? I mean, the air which you are breathing in now, CO2, nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, they are molecules. If you look at the electronics in your laptop or in your computer or in your mobile phone, they contain atoms and molecules. This morning you woke up, maybe you had some vitamin pills, tablets, again, atoms and molecules. The chair that you're sitting on now, maybe it's made of plastic, again, these are molecules. Huh? So atoms and molecules are everywhere. And we chemists study the properties of these atoms and molecules, often with these different applications in mind, which you can see on this slide over here. And I think this is why it makes chemists, I would say, very versatile people. Okay, next slide. So something about the Department of Chemistry, but you are most free to visit us anytime you want. Okay, So the department has 59 faculty members. So these are the professors, the lecturers who do teaching and research. We have 36 support staff members. So these are very important people. The administrators, the lab technicians, and I would say that they are the most critical people to keep the place running. Okay. And then we have more than 420 undergraduate students. Now, this number is not insignificant. So 420 undergraduate students, it means that about every year we have more or less about 100-ish freshmen coming in. Okay. And this number is actually very nice because it is not very small, but neither is it super big. So what this really means is when you come into the Department of Chemistry, you can actually, in practice, get to know everybody in the department, all the students in your batch. And I think this is most fantastic. And then we have more than 400 graduate students. So these are students doing masters and as well as PhD courses. So you can sort of consider NUS chemistry to be a comprehensive department in the sense that we do research and we also teach at different levels, including for working adults. Next slide. Now, as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, I'm in charge of education for the department, and I would say that very confidently that, of course, me and my colleagues, we are not perfect, okay, but I think that we have tried very, very hard to give you the best education that we can possibly come up with. I think this is a guarantee from us. But more than that, we appreciate very much that chemistry is a very experimental subject. So over the last, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we have constantly upgraded the equipment in the lab. So here is a selection of the lab equipment that we have, which you'll be using eventually when you come into the Department of Chemistry. Now, why do we upgrade our equipment so frequently? And the reason is because we want you to be trained in the state of the art. So we don't want you to be trained on some equipment that is antique, but because this is no good for you. We really want you to be trained in the state of the art so that when you leave the university 4 years from now, you're well equipped for the outside world. Okay. Next slide. Now, all this is not possible. All this would not be possible without the support, of course, of the Singapore government, who has funded very generously the NUS. We got also funding from NUS itself, but the department is also heavily supported by alumni and benefactors. And these alumni and benefactors have also donated a lot of funds, a lot of money for scholarships, awards, and bursaries, which you are free to apply for. Because if you qualify for it, okay. Next slide. Now, I don't think I want to go into it. NUS chemistry is ranked very highly globally as well as in Asia. Okay. Next. Now, I'm going to tell you now, switch gears and tell you something about the curriculum of NUS chemistry. Maybe this is what you are most interested in. Or maybe you're more interested in student life, but anyway, I'll tell you something about the curriculum, okay? So the Department of Chemistry is parked under the Faculty of Science, okay? And then the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences form what is called the College of Humanities and Sciences, the CHS. So I think this morning, there probably is a talk on the CHS. Yeah? Now, where is the Faculty of Science located? If you go to, if you take the MRT, okay, the circle line, this is the Enrich MRT station. So it's just next to NUH. And the Faculty of Science is about 10 minutes walk from the MRT station. So what this means is that when school starts, there's no reason to be late for school, okay? and in fact, you can walk from the MRT station all the way to the Faculty of Science under shelter. Even if there's a heavy rain, you won't get wet at all. It's completely under shelter. Okay, next. So the system that the education system that we have in NUS chemistry, and in fact across the whole Faculty of Science, is that we use what is called a modular system. So let me explain. So you would take different courses, okay? And each course contains essentially a chunk of information, of expertise that we want you to have over the space of one semester, okay? Of course, there is certain freedom to do what you want, but the freedom is not absolute as well, of course. So you have to do certain things. And to get a Bachelor of Science degree, honors, you need to take about 40 courses, and each course comes with 4 units. 4 units. So if you stay in NUS for 4 years, each year there are 2 semesters. Each semester you take 5 courses. That means this comes to 160 units in 4 years. So it's actually very, very manageable. Okay, next. Now, what are the courses that you take? So if you come to NUS, to the CHS, you have to do what is called the core curriculum. So these are 13 courses. I will not go into it. But then you also have to do what's called the major requirements if you're interested in first major in chemistry. So these are 15 courses. And then we have the so-called unrestricted electives. So I will talk more about it in a while. But as the name suggests, there is very little restrictions to how you can use these 12 possibilities. So you can take, for example, more courses in chemistry, or you can take physics, history, whatever you want, okay? There's relatively less restriction. So 13 plus 15 plus 12, that comes to 40 courses. Okay, next. So I will tell you about the chemistry curriculum. So when you come into NUS chemistry, say in August, for example, okay, you come into August, and assuming that you have the prerequisites, that means H2 chemistry at the A levels, IB, a polytechnic diploma that is recognized by the university, you can come in and take CM1102. So this is on the upper left-hand corner of this slide over here, okay, CM1102. Essentially, this course prepares you really for what is to come in the second year, third year, and fourth year. And CM1102, just to add a little bit more of information, is taught by Professor Adrian Michael Lee, who is essentially, I would say, the one of the best, if not the best, educator in NUS. Okay, so he has won all the teaching awards you can possibly think of. So we are very happy to put him there because we think that that we want to build very strong foundations for our first year students. Now, in case that you wish to do a chemistry major, but you do not have the prerequisite, that means A-level, H2 chemistry, and so on, you can also do what we call a bridging course. So this is CM1417, again on the upper left-hand corner. And after you take this course, you passed it, you can go on to do 1102 and join the rest of your friends, okay? So after you finish this 1102 and 1417, okay, you can advance to the so-called level 2 chemistry. Yeah? So these 4 courses are what I would call as basic courses in inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, and analytical chemistry. And they have both experiment and theoretical or lecture built into them. Next slide. And after that, after you finish these 5 courses, you can go on to do the level 3000 chemistry. And so these are really the advanced courses, again, in inorganic, organic, physical, and analytical. So the first 4 courses on this slide, so it's the 3111, 3121, 3131, 3141. They are lecture courses. But as I mentioned some minutes ago, chemistry is a very experimental subject, okay? So and we want you to be well trained in the different methods different experiments. So we actually have two lab courses, 3191 and 3192. So this prepares you well for the different types of experiments that you might see in the future. So 1 plus 4 plus 6, this is 11 courses. And then after that, to complete your first major in chemistry, you can do 4 electives. So as the name suggests, electives, it means that there is quite little restrictions to what you can do. So on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see all the different possibilities that we have out here, okay? And in fact, we have just introduced a new course on AI and chemistry. You can see it's called Smart Molecules with AI, okay? So we have different things there, and you just need to choose 4 of them, okay? Of course, you choose 4 courses that you think that you will enjoy, and you would have deemed to complete the requirements for a first major in chemistry. Okay, next slide. Now, what do you do under unrestricted electives? As I mentioned just now, really you can do really many different things, like take up a second language or whatever. But I would say, why not do more chemistry? And we do have some possibilities for you, which I will show you now. Next slide, Linda. Thanks. The department actually offers what we call specializations for our first major. So this is basically a deep dive, an in-depth study into certain topics, okay? So over the last 2 years, we have actually mounted a specialization in sustainable chemistry and a specialization in medicinal chemistry, because these 2 topics are very important, okay? In fact, they are very much in demand. And so we mounted the 2 of them. So essentially, you go deep into these 2 topics. Of course, if you wish, you can also do both topics as well. There is no problem in that, okay? But I think most students will choose either one. Now, I just want to maybe make a point here, because I was involved in setting up these 2 specializations, but in particular the first one, because I actually wrote the entire proposal. And as part of the proposal that we have to do, we need to solicit 6 reference letters from companies, which usually is a very difficult thing to do. But in 1 week, we actually got 11 letters from companies, and all of them unanimously support the program, okay? And in fact, one of the companies actually wrote to me and say, hey, you should have done this a little bit earlier, right? I mean, this is such an important topic, which I agree. But my response to him is, we really want to do things very, very well. So we want to create a good program before we mount it, rather than to do something in a rush. But I think this shows you how important these programs are, okay? Now, there is another specialization in chemical research. Now, what is chemical research? Put it in a very simple way. Essentially, you approach one of the professors, could be myself, for example, and then you ask him or you ask her for a research project. And so the both of you will work together to design a research problem. And then you go on to design experiments to answer the problem. You will learn to carry out experiments to answer the research problem, collect data, analyze the data, present the data, write up the data, okay, and defend the data, because these are examinable courses. So if you think about it, this is actually a very, very good training. As to get this specialization, we required you really to do a shorter project, which lasts typically for 1 semester, and a longer project, okay, which lasts over 2 semesters. I would say for those of you here who are interested in industrial R&D, or you're interested to consider a career in doing a PhD, maybe you want to be my colleague next time, okay? I think that the specialization in chemical research is the thing to do. Now, what sort of topics can you work on? I would say there's a whole variety of it. And if you look at all the professors in NUS chemistry, pretty much we cover most of the topics that you can think of, okay? So you can look for any of us. So for example, my own interest is in carbon dioxide conversion, which is on the upper left-hand corner, the lower left-hand corner of this slide. Okay, next. Now, we understand that students could also be interested in pursuing internships, okay? And NUS chemistry, a lot of our students actually end up in different companies. NUS has a very good website called Talent Connect. So the companies will put up their job advertisement in these websites, okay, which you can look at and apply for. But additionally, we also have students who find their own companies. So they want to source for their own companies. And if they found a company which they want to work in, the department is able to establish the connection, okay, between the company and NUS. So for example, there was a student last semester and she wanted to work in a particular company, but this company is very new, and no problem because we can help to establish connection, okay? So really, I think the department is here to support you as much as we can. Next slide. Now, another possibility for all of you, which I'm sure many of you will want to take up, really is student exchange programs, okay? So I think about 1/3 of the chemistry students go for exchange in, I don't know, America, in Europe, Hong Kong, Korea. But we also understand that some students perhaps do not want to go overseas for whatever reason, no problem. So within the department, we also organize overseas immersion programs. We have programs now to China, to Shanghai and Suzhou, and also to Chongqing and Chengdu. Okay, so the next trip actually will be held in 2 months from now, in May 2026. Okay, to Shanghai and Suzhou. So it's really a lot of fun. Okay, a lot of fun. Okay, next slide. Now, apart from taking more chemistry modules, you also, of course, have the possibility of taking a second major or taking minors in other disciplines. I think that this is one of the beautiful things about the CHS system. So I could tell you that when I was an undergraduate some years ago, it is virtually impossible to do a second major or minor in a different subject. Okay, so you might consider me as I'm a pure chemistry major. I do just chemistry, more chemistry, and more chemistry. That was the system which I had. But now under the new system, the CHS, you have the possibilities of doing more chemistry stuff, or to take up a second major, perhaps in a arts subject like history, for example. Okay, that you have all these possibilities here. Yeah, next slide. Now, just in case we have students here who do not want to do a first major in chemistry, okay, there are also possibilities of doing a second major in chemistry. So maybe if you want to do a first major in the life sciences, no problem, fantastic. But then you are interested to do a second major in chemistry, also can, okay? You can also do a minor in chemistry as well, or a minor in analytical chemistry. So you can see here in my slide that we have many different possibilities out there for you, okay? Next. Okay, I'm going to go through this very, very quickly, in fact, just a few seconds, because Jin Hui will talk more about it. I think that being in NUS chemistry is not just about studying, and more studying, okay? I think that you should take the opportunity to make a lot of friends, to sort of expand your social network. And there are different societies. So the Chemical Sciences Society, which Jin Hui is the president of, okay, organize many fun activities. We have the NUS ACS student chapter, which deals more with academic kind of activities. We have the chemistry demo interest group, so they go in and do interesting experiments. And we also have the science club, okay. Moreover, every first year undergraduate, freshman, you'll be tagged to a mentor, so one of the professors. And the idea here is the professor is here to help you in any way possible, okay? Because we know that coming to the university can be quite overwhelming for some students. So we really try to help to ease you in. Next slide. And then, of course, definitely much more social activities. Okay, I will not go into this. Okay, next slide. Now, what do we really want from you at the end of 4 years of your education in the NUS, right? Of course, we want you to be a good problem solver, to have a good critical thinking, have an analytical mindset. And we hope that at the end of your 4 years in the NUS that you are ready to take up some pretty exciting careers. And as I mentioned at the start of this presentation, our students find themselves in different sectors in the industry. Okay, so here are some of the job titles and industries which you can take a look at. But to be more specific, next slide, Linda. We also have a list of job titles and the companies which our students are in right now. Okay, so for example, the corporate lab director ExxonMobil is actually my old classmate when I was when I was an undergraduate. Okay, so okay, next slide. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to stop here. You can take a photo of this slide if you wish. Take a screenshot of this slide. So if you have any questions, please feel free to address them to the department and also to me. Okay, you can always Google up my name and then just write me an email. No problem. Okay, so I think I'm going to pass the floor now to Jin Hui, who will tell you more about student life. Jin Hui, over to you. And then I think we have also a lot of time for questions and answers later. Okay, no problem. Yeah, Jin Hui.
Thank you, Prof. So hi everyone, I'm Jun Hui. I'm currently a year 2 chemistry student, and today I'll be here to share with you more about the student life in the Department of Chemistry. Next slide. So these are the various kinds of student life events that we have in the Department of Chemistry, and it's organized by different societies every semester. Yeah, next slide. So first of all, we of course have the welfare events. So there are 3 different types of events, and the first one will be the department they always like host this UGT every 3 weeks, at least for this academic year, where we have like different kinds of food and we just chit chat with our friends and professors, just get to know people and like to build our connections as well. Then we also have the NUS ACS student chapter, where they also host like fun events for the chemistry cohort. Like recently, they also hosted like this fun event where they involve like Prof. Adrian Lee, like it's like some kind of like sci-fi related game. And last but not least, we also have the Chemical Sciences Society, CSS, where we collaborated with the department to host a larger scale welfare tea for the chemistry cohort in week 12 of last semester. So like we also have like different games and like there's different kind of like delicious food that we also bought for you to enjoy as we play along the games. Yeah, next slide. And of course, we also have the industry talks and visits. Actually, the NUS ACS student chapter, they usually will host like industry visits, such as the recent visit to NTU research facilities in collaboration with their own ACS student chapter. And also the CSS will also host the human library, where alumni will be invited back to give a sharing regarding their career path, and seniors will get to share more about their internship experiences and how to apply their internship and so forth. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so we'll also have the academic sharing events. CSS also hosts this event called Connections, where we invite seniors to share about global programs that NUS has to offer and what like are their own like second majors and minors and more information about them. So if let's say you're interested in a minor in geoscience, then there will be seniors there to help like share more information about it and to see if it fits your interest or not. And we'll also have the previous slide. Thank you. So we also have the Meet the Researchers, where faculty members actually get to share their research areas, and seniors will get to share more about their research experiences, such as in Europe's or in their FYP. So, like in this case, like if you let's say you are interested in a certain research field like environmental chemistry, and you want to know like which professors offer such research interest, then you can go ahead and join this event where you can listen in and see whether the faculty member like interests actually fit yours. Yeah, next. So of course we also have the community service events. Every year, CSS will actually host this day of service every academic year to bring chemistry undergraduates to help out at a location. So for this year, we actually did volunteering at the Edible Garden at Funan Mall. And interestingly, I also didn't really know that this place existed until like they started like sharing like, oh, this is a possible location where we can do like volunteering. So yeah, I think it's a really fun like and very meaningful event where chemistry students of all like backgrounds can come together and like just help out and chit chat as we help like the location that we're helping at. Yeah. Next. And we'll also have the Halloween and Valentine's Day event. So this is actually in collaboration with the Science Club, where we'll like all of the societies or most of them will host like a 3-day booth during Halloween period and Valentine's Day period, where we'll sell different merchandises and we'll also host like different mini games and like mini like activities such as photo taking booth. Yeah, so like different uh people like can go there and like check out like what we sell. And this year we actually sold like these different items as shown on the right. We sold like the lab coat patches, different Valentine's Day cards, and we also allowed them to pre-order and buy on the spot flower bouquets and charm bracelets. And we also sell our chemistry t-shirts, which is very popular actually. And we also sold like different key rings and test tube candies, which is very interesting. So yeah, and you can check out our Valentine's Day TikTok on our CSS TikTok at NUS. Yeah, it was a very interesting video. Yeah, next slide. And last but not least, we have the very big orientation camps. So this chemistry camp actually occurs around every end of June to allow smooth transition and orientate new chemistry freshmen into NUS. So the chemistry camp committee members actually host different fun games as well as very informative sharings done by seniors during the 3-day camp. And in fact, this year's camp will be on 26 to 28 June. So if you are interested in signing up, you can keep a lookout on the chemistry camp Instagram, and we'll like make sure to update there and inform you when the signups are open. So as you can see, like on the right, these are all the different like pictures that we took from our previous camp and also our previous like game trial that actually occurred like a few days ago actually. So yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, yeah. So thank you so much. If there's any question we can answer, I think.
Yeah, so we're happy to answer any questions from you. Linda can be the MC of the questions. Okay, here we go. Good. Okay, the first question, okay. May I check how many students intake per year? Thanks. On average, it's about 100-ish. I mean, say the number vary about from 100 to 120. In some years, I think there was one particular year it went to about 140, okay? Or let's just say it's about 100-ish. I just want to make a point here is that the student, when you apply, you apply first and foremost to the College of Humanities and Sciences, the CHS. And then once you're admitted into the CHS, actually you are free to choose your major. So you can choose to do chemistry or physics or life sciences, whatever. So you are free, okay, to choose. There is no restrictions. Hope that answers your question. And then how rigorous is the math physics for physical chemistry modules, especially for those that didn't take physics in JC? Aha. Of course, the math and physics has to be rigorous, right? Because you are in the university. Of course, it's rigorous. No Mickey Mouse stuff, okay? But don't worry. I mean, we understand that there could be students perhaps who are not particularly strong in math or physics. So actually, I think that the lecturers, they try very hard to make up for any deficiency. So I really wouldn't worry too much about this, okay, John? What are the IB requirements for chemistry? Wow, this one I'm not so sure. Hey, if you're looking here at the so-called the entry requirements, actually, we really can't comment too much about it. But if you go to the Office of Admission, okay, I think this is the website, or if it's not in the website, next week, or rather this week, you come to the open house in Utown. Outside the Office of Admissions, you see this huge poster that tells you the entry score of the students in the previous years. So it sort of gives you roughly an idea, okay, of the grades of the students coming into the CHS to engineering and so on and so forth, okay? Now, I was wondering, is it possible to take a second major in, say, life sciences after matriculation and before year one, like apply before year one starts? Yes, of course, you are free to do so, okay? You do not need to really declare your major so early, okay? So if you wish to do a second major in life sciences after matriculation and before year one, sem one, no problem, okay? No problem. Lee Eun, how often will we have tests or exam? Is there a bell curve? Thank you. How often do you have tests or exam? Wow, this one is it's intriguing. I think this depends. Okay, so if you're talking about the final exam, it depends on the course. So some courses do not have final exams and some have. Okay, it really depends. As for tests, typically, I think every module, you may have 2 tests. I think this is quite typical during a semester. Okay, 2 tests. Some courses have only 1 test. Is there a bell curve? Aha. So I think your question is, will everybody? Is it necessary that there must be some failures, and is it necessary that somebody must get A plus, right? Okay, so I think I can put it this way, lah. I think that the important thing about the assessment is that it has to be differentiating. So all the professors, we don't want to set a very, very easy exam such that everybody gets A plus. Neither do we want to set a very difficult exam that everybody fails, okay? So you try to set an exam that sort of can differentiate the different types of students in the class. Yeah? But there is really no bell curve in the NUS. Okay, actually, I think this is open information really. Hi, may I know, usually do the students need to undergo any interviews before the course? Interviews, no. I think that the only interviews that you need to do is, let's say you are applying for a scholarship, right? Or you are coming in under uh, there is admission scheme. I can't remember the name now, but it, to take a course that there is no need to do an interview. Okay, yeah. Let me see. Will we have lab classes for every semester? No. Most probably in your first year, first semester, there won't be lab classes. But in your first year, second semester, I think this is when the labs start to come in. Okay. Now, I want to make a point here. Is that, of course, we have lab classes that is built within the courses, or as I mentioned just now, there are two dedicated lab courses. Okay? But for example, if you end up doing a research project, you also be doing some lab experiments as well. Okay. Again, this is up to you. Can I take first major under pharmaceutical science and chemistry as second major? Yes, Angeline, this is definitely possible. Okay. But why not do the other way around? It's even better. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, this is possible, Angeline. You can do a first major in farm science and second major in chemistry. No problem. No problem. Any more questions for us? You can also ask about student life. So let Jin Hui say something also. What's this? Are student exchange programs arranged by the department? Uh, is the department also has to do some work lah. Okay, so the faculty of science obviously has a lot of say to it. But what happens is when you go for an exchange program, let's say you want to go to, I don't know, let's just say, I don't know, Seoul National University, for instance, right? So you want to take some courses at the SNU, and you want to bring the credits back to NUS. So there'll be a coordinator who is my colleague who'll be looking at those courses at the SNU and to make sure that they can be transferred back to the NUS. Okay, so in a way, the department plays a role as well to make sure that you're doing the, so to speak, the proper courses when you're overseas. But the Faculty of Science is the one that gives the okay. Okay, now Carrie has answered the question. Good. Of Li En. Hey, you all can look at your chat box because all the questions are there. Yeah. Yeah. So they have this on the screen is the two mascot. Maybe they should have the IKEA orangutan as the new mascot. You watch the news, the Punch, the monkey, right? You should get the IKEA orangutan to be the new mascot. I'm sure that will be very popular. Any other questions? For me and Jin Hui, for Carrie and Linda Racing. I mean, if there's not, maybe you can end, Linda. I don't know what you think. But again, maybe I can advertise a bit lah. So this coming Saturday in Utown, in case you like my face, you please come to the to the NUS Utown. That's the physical open house. Okay, so it will look something like what you see in this picture over here. Linda, Carrie, Ray Sin, Jin Hui, we will all be there with all my colleagues. Okay, all of us will be there. We will be very happy to meet you face to face, talk to you, to answer any other questions. Okay, which you might have. Okay, so there are a lot of opportunities, I think, in the next few months for you to get to know about us. So we really want to give you as much information as we can, so that you can make a wise decision. Oh, there's a question here. Hang on a second. Could you elaborate more on the career options after chemistry? Would more students be educators after that? Well, we do have students who became educators. That means, I guess what you're referring to is maybe they would join the MOE, because we do have students who have scholarships. So after that,
你等我陣先，因為佢應該就嚟攞得噶啦。嗱，佢如果即刻攞得，我 send 個 picture 俾你個 number 好冇？就嚟得噶啦，拜拜。
what's that? Okay, never mind. So we do have students who are MOE scholars, so they end up as educators. But certainly, I don't think that this is the majority of them. I think a whole bunch of students, they will end up working in the different chemical sectors. In Singapore, there'll be, I think, at least, if I remember correctly, I think a good 20%, 15-20% of the students will end up doing a PhD, either overseas or in the NUS, because they are so passionate about chemistry. We have those students who perhaps decided that they want to do something else that is not chemistry. Okay, maybe they want to become an administrator, and that's no problem as well. So I think there are many job options out there after you finish your first degree in chemistry, which will be 4 years from now. Okay, I think if there are no other questions, I think we can end here, Linda. So so thank you very much for coming, and then